Yo guys, sorry you already know that today we are back playing some more Raging Loop. On the last time we finished off this section of the Dense Mist. We went back to this thing and we finished off. We learned that Shemi has been looping, and then we're kind of working together to try and get the last keys. So interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure somewhere in here there is a spot for only key 20. I want to find it just so I can show it off. Oh, this is 20 and 3. So this one is technically now open to us. However, the game said something about going to darkness and then going to, I don't remember where it was. Select trap. This is where we're going. This is where the game wants me to go next. So that is where we're going to go. I did just want to look one other thing because I'm pretty sure there's one. Yeah, there's only key 20. So I don't know if this is just supposed to unlock another bad ending or what. I don't know why the game wants me to go to somewhere for that needs 2 keys instead of doing this one that only needs 1. But for right now, I'm going to trust the game, and if somehow I get to the true end and this still hasn't gone by, then I'll come back and do this at a later time. But yeah, so we're just going to keep following the game's directive. I think our main goal right now is to figure out the trigger of the loop, because it isn't caused by us dying. There's a time loop. Now that there's 2 people that are dying, when we die, the loop still happens because Shemi can attest to that. When Shemi dies, the loop still happens, and we can attest to that. But something is causing the loop to go back, and it isn't just when both of us die. So we need to figure out what it's tied to and connected to. So right here, we're going back to select trap. I don't actually remember this too much. So this is all or nothing. Thorough investigation. Let's see what this is even asking. From everyone's perspective, it's me. I came at such a suspicious time. You all know nothing about me. Your shady that's got nothing to do with being a wolf. A considered response from him? Something wasn't right here. What was I to do here? Got it. Oh, okay, so this was, Kanzo specifically, approaching us in the mist, and I think just, interrogating us, and then we were able to throw him off by, talking about Haru, and we eventually were able to get him to make a fool of himself at the feast and get himself voted out. So this is the loop where we're a wolf, but we're going to use these keys to ask Kanzo about Haru. Here we go. Okay. That was right. I just remembered. Did my memories carry over in a weird way because the method from back then was weird? Well, then again, this wouldn't be the first time my memories didn't carry over properly. Maybe I should have counted myself lucky for remembering it all. I had tons of things to think about. About the beast in the village. The giant monster. The dream enveloping Fujiyoshi, as well as the looping the sheep had told me about. But this wasn't the time to worry about that. The old man before me was one who'd survived the past tragedies in Fujiyoshi. With the old wolf guy being a pain to talk to, I had to rely on him instead. But how was I supposed to talk to him? It looked like there was just one way. It's me. I'm a wolf. Whoa, what? Okay, where is this gonna go? Upon hearing that, you're a wolf? He didn't take out his gun. His expression showed nothing but total confusion. I know, from your experience, wolves never reveal themselves. Of course, the humans don't lie, so you can't even imagine why anyone would say something so suicidal. Shut it. He finally put his gun at me, but his lateness told me just how hesitant he was. I controlled the pace of the conversation. I revealed this because I'm someone who grew up outside the village. I'm not bound by God's curse. Not yet, anyway. You don't understand? Okay. Well, just keep in mind that the feasts from before were isolated and didn't have any outsiders. Your experience doesn't apply to a feast with outsiders. Don't be so concerned, though. I mean no harm. I sat down to the ground, extending my hurting leg forward. Shoot me if you want. Though, I'm sure you're aware that a murder without the majority's approval is against the rules, even if it doesn't break the 1 per day law. I confirmed that during my looping with Shemi. Get to the point. There's no point. I just feel bad for you. Huh? I had to apologize to the Kaori-san and Haru-chan of this timeline. It must be awful for a grandfather to have to kill his granddaughter. I wouldn't want to be the only survivor of such an awful situation. It's too heavy a burden. That's why I came here to talk to you. What'd you just say? It must be awful for a grandfather to have to kill his granddaughter. He didn't fire, but he sent a solid kick flying at my solar plexus, knocking the wind from my lungs. You're a wolf, you gotta be lying. If that's the case, I wouldn't have revealed myself at all. Well, I understand though, I'm a wolf and all I'm saying is true. Then why'd you say it? Will you get it if I say this? If you don't want to kill your granddaughter, kill everyone else. Another kick, it came for my face and hit my head, making me see stars. I'll hang all the wolves, even my granddaughter. Yeah, I thought you'd say that. I don't mind if you choose that, but are you really sure? I'm putting my life on the line here, and it's only because I want to open up to you. So could you please respond in kind? I just want to understand before I die. That's why I want to ask you something. Specifically about your experience in the previous feasts, and whether you'll sacrifice the laws that have supported you or your granddaughter. Please tell me, Kanzo Makishima-san. I can't trust you. Of course he couldn't. But he couldn't ignore or kill me either. Why not sit down? I can't move right now, and we still have time. He silently sat down right before me, cross-legged. Yo, this is crazy. The conversation was slow and sporadic. He asked if I and Haru-chan really were wolves over and over again. Well, what he was mostly conflicted about was whether or not to harm his granddaughter, after all. Thus I said this. I'm relieved. What? You're actually conflicted about this? Haru-chan didn't hesitate to murder the moment she became a wolf. Really? Yes, Karu-san too. I was against it, and almost died because of it. Anyone who becomes a wolf ends up a wolf to the core. Even Haru. Why? You were human in the other feast, right? Can you tell me more about them? Ooh. Thus he started talking. He participated in 2 feasts in the past. This was his 3rd. But as far as he knew, there was another feast before that. It happened about 60 years ago, shortly after he was born. The mist came and many died. It coincided with World War II. Youths from both Kanfujiyoshi and Yasumizu were drafted to the battlefield, so most of the ones who died in the feast were the elderly, women, and children. After that, Yasumizu, which once had dozens of people, quickly deteriorated. Deaths weren't the only cause, some just fled. I don't know much about that time, but the elder said that it wasn't supposed to happen. What do you mean? No idea, they just said the wolf should have never actually appeared. His explanation was so full of holes that I didn't really understand. However, it seemed like until the event during the war, the Feast of the Yomi Purge wasn't considered a paranormal event. Interesting. Most couldn't believe that the Yukami had actually appeared. It shocked everyone. They began to think that they'd anger the mountain. Some of the elderly believed that the Fujiyoshi blood spilled in the war had awakened the wolves. It happened just 60 years ago, but it greatly spread the darkness of the local superstition. Okay. Apparently, something that happened in Yasumizu at that time helped too. Kanzo-san just said that people were killed, and I couldn't tell whether Kanzo-san didn't know the details or if he found it so detestable he didn't want to say it. Whatever the case, the main topic of conversation happened a while after that. It was the other 2 feasts, the one he'd participated in. He said that there were no myths for a whole 40 years after the feast in the war. The war ended during this time, and though some tried to fix it, Yasumizu was in an awful state. People died, the workforce was lost, poverty became worse, some still living went to work away from home, causing the place to deteriorate even further. However, Kanzo-san felt that the main cause of this awful state was the darkness of superstition clouding the locals' hearts. Kanzo-san could remember how, when he was young, everyone just worked the fields with cloth over their faces, constantly afraid of something. Those cloths were an item used in the Mountain Shinai Festival. Their purpose was to prevent eye contact with Yomibito, though Kanzo-san himself used it to keep the sun out of his eyes and to prevent his gaze from sensing his vision. But, at the core, it was an unreasonable tool born of superstition. Anyway, as the village became more and more unreasonable and the mist came, it happened about 15 years ago. Okay. At that time, Tai-san and Shimi, who was still in her first year of elementary school, were participating in an event in Kanfujiyoshi, so they ended up avoiding the incident. That's lucky of them. The 2 village heads, who were in Yasumizu right now, weren't here to begin with, while Takumi-san was already an adult working away from home. Haru-chan was born just a year before, and since her parents were on vacation, she'd also avoided the tragedy. They were on a trip away from Yasumizu with a small child? My son's wife was a teacher from a nearby town. She went back to her parents. I see. I'm impressed he decided to marry someone from out of Yasumizu. She was pretty much an outsider, huh? Some complained about it, especially Taiba. You weren't against it? The opposite. I'd rest easy knowing they could leave Yasumizu at this time of year. It was the only time they'd ever escaped, though. Anyway, the only ones who'd experienced that feast and were still alive were Kanzo-san and the old wolf guy. It was a feast like this one. No one wanted to hang anyone the first day, then the wolves killed someone. You had a fake for every guardian receiver, no one trusted anyone, and then voted, go against the rules and get the corruption. Some tried, they died in the mountains or because they didn't shelter. This feast killed the Higuchi heir, Oribe's, Yasu and Yoshi's dad. Oh. I'd heard that, he was killed by the wolves on the first day. He was either wise enough for the wolves to see him as a threat, or they just hated him. Both were likely, but I didn't care about that now. Why would a village head come to Yasumizu? He came here by himself to make a proper watering hole. The Higuchi family fought over who'd get this dirty job. And it coincided with the feast? Was it planned? Many get sent here at this time of year. Year 1 too. I see, but wasn't it unusual to invite outsiders at this time of year? That's true, but it's also the first time a journo came to Yasumizu. The fact that outsiders were invited at all was way more suspicious than the timing of it. Anyway, about 10 people died in the feast, and Yasumizu lost a third of its population. It was awful. Kanzo-san was just a human without any guardian. Half of the participants were old people who'd either experienced the last feast or were in the war. Naturally, they could make awfully cool decisions, and some tried to go against the rules, leading to severe punishments at the hands of the corruption. I couldn't do anything. I just hid from the scary stuff and didn't say a thing. The eldest there told me to watch and learn, because I'd be the one running Yasumizu if they died. He got brutalized by the wolves soon after. Who were the wolves? We only found out one of the three. But the last one we hanged was a girl about as old as Toru, my son. Remember, it still gives me the chills. She got the noose on her and fell. That well-behaved girl cursed us with the face of a demon. I knew that feeling well due to all my looping, but I couldn't really say it. After that, we finished up the feast. The old fart's been like that back then, too. Okay, yeah, he was like that always, the old wolf guy. When they came back, I told Taiba, my son, and everyone else that there'd been an accident, but there was nothing to worry about. Little Chi was scared and got all quiet for a while. She even asked me to go with her to the bathroom at night. Takumi came back right after, and Higuchi's wife was sent here with Yasu. She had Yoshi in her. That was the first feast. If I may ask, did something happen to Yasumizu before the feast began? Also, I'm confused. They only caught 2 wolves? So what happened to the other 2? They died of the corruption, I guess? What do you mean? Anything begun up for the village heads to take notice. A few years before that, there had been an illness here. It was hell. Dozens died, and I was on the verge too. What illness was it? I don't know. Gave everyone bad diarrhea, though. Was that relevant? What about the next feast? 8 years ago. After a bad rain. Alright, so it was 15 years ago and then 8 years ago. So what, 7 years apart? The mist came again. It started after the landslide, and the Nosato construction site buried some people. Okay. I already knew some things about that feast. During it, the children, Tai-san and Kaori-san, were in Kanfuji-yoshi, and it killed Haru-chan's parents. Gen-san, one of the survivors, mentioned something about the badger, and Haru-chan somehow survived the mist. Kanzo-san added more information to that. Takumi-san had been working away from home again, and Kanzo-san was the crow. Okay. He was absolutely certain that his son, Toru Makishima, was a wolf. My son said he was the crow. Tomiko, his wife, cried as my son and I shouted at each other, saying that the other's a wolf. In the end, there was a vote. He's the one who ended up hanging. He kept saying it until the end. He said he was the real crow and that I was a wolf. There wasn't a bite of lies in his eyes. If I wasn't the crow, I would have believed him. Back then, only the elders voted for him, and it was really close. I almost got hanged. And someone got brutalized that night. And Tomiko, thinking that I was a wolf, tried to kill me at night and got the corruption because she didn't shelter. Oh. The next morning, the mist cleared. What? It cleared up even though you didn't do anything after the brutalization? Haru-chan's parents' final moments sparked some emotions for me, but I had to comment on that. Was it really a brutalization? Are you sure the wolves didn't mess up and suffer the corruption? No, it was a clean axe kill. Oh, how many wolves did you kill until then? Out of the 3 wolves, only my son. I was the crow, so I knew. The mist cleared with 2 wolves still alive? That was supposed to be impossible. The feast rules didn't allow that. Wolves could only die during the day, and since one of them killed someone during the night, the wolves had to be alive. Yet the mist cleared despite that? That was supposed to be impossible. Oh, that is weird. Does the mist not work the way that we thought it did? I mean, the monster was summoned before either the wolves or humans technically won as well. Were there other? Man, I don't know. I don't know if there was other times where the mist cleared without everything being one side being completely wiped out, or maybe it was unnatural to assume that the mist, a natural phenomenon, was directly linked with the feast, a man-made one. If the mist was actually somehow controlled by humans, then maybe it wasn't unlikely for it to clear due to some mistake? Oh. It would make sense if that happened this time. It would also explain the Gensan thing. If he'd been a wolf and accidentally survived, it would solve the contradiction of Kanzo-san, a human still being alive, while a wolf was able to leave that crucial bit of info. If there was a way to control the mist, it probably wasn't linked to the control of the loop. Still, maybe it'd be useful. I keep this in mind. What about Haru-chan? I only know what I heard. She might have entered Yasumizu the evening my son was hanged, but no one saw her. The mist cleared after that, right? Mm-hmm. Had the mist cleared because of God? So the mist ended there, and I called Takumi to help clean up. Then Haru-chan became weird. I told her it was an accident, that her parents got lost in the mist and fell off the cliff. I couldn't say it. I couldn't tell her that her dad was a wolf, or that her mom got torn apart, right? Kanzo-san was unusually talkative. The strange wolf before him made the rough, silent old man reveal things he wanted to take to his grave. You were right to do so. Still, the girl lost her parents, so she got weird. Wolf possession, right? That's one thing. She'd also been a good, cheerful girl, and it made her all edgy and selfish. She started wearing those clothes, and it still carried around that bottle she'd had with her at the time. I'm not sure about that. I don't know about the possession, but I feel like the changes in her behavior and taste are just in your imagination. Maybe it's only happening because he built a wall between you and her, and she just did the same. Don't act like you know. I do. We're both wolves. I saw glimpses of her true personality. You'd be surprised how honest she is. I almost call it greedy. She's a good, honest girl who takes in whatever she hears and matures like the teen she is. I call her talented just for that. I can honestly call her a good girl, a good person. If it weren't for the situation, I'd have to be in a relationship with her. She's that charming. Then there's you. You were afraid that she might find out the truth, So you distance yourself from her and refuse to give her anything. Right, Kanzo-san? He didn't get mad at me. I feel like we've told him way too much that I mean, I guess he should be suspicious of some things, but I guess we're an outsider and who knows. But we have so much info that we probably shouldn't have, because this is like the first day, I think? Maybe the second day? He just cast his eyes down. This wasn't the energetic, strong hunter I knew, but an old man caught in the throes of regret. What a shame. It was so sad that this would become nothing but a dream. This exchange, that could perhaps remove the wall between the old man and his granddaughter, would be gone. Oh well. I'd have to solve it all anyway. I'd try to fix their family relations too. It wasn't necessary for Haruchan and I to be wolves for my words to resonate with him. Out of the 3 wolves, only my son. I was a crow, so I knew. She started wearing those clothes and still carried around that bottle she'd had with her at the time. I also solved a few more mysteries. This is a good time to end it. Now, Kanzo-san, you need to go back. Everyone's worried. Give me your shoulder. I'll take you. What are you saying? The only twins that are killing the wolves are betraying the humans and killing them. That's why you can only kill me or leave me here and kill everyone else. Right? Huh? I know full well that Haruchan is important to you, but so are the others, right? If you kill Kaori-san, Haruchan, and I, you'll win this with minimal casualties. By boat or by bullet, I'm sure you can do that. The Orbe brothers, Takumi-san, the elders, and the village heads are blameless here. That's why you have to decide right now. Don't act like you care about whether the feast happens today. Well, I know that you'll suffer the corruption if you don't get the others to agree, but I'm sure that you'll choose to massacre either the humans or the wolves, even if it means getting the corruption. Dying for Haruchan is an option, and so is killing Haruchan, but surviving yourself wow, what the heck? Dying for Haruchan is an option, and so is killing Haruchan, but surviving yourself. And I know you won't pick either option. Why did that trip me up so bad? I don't get it. What are you after? Will the chief get mad at me if I just said I wanted to die quickly and naturally move on to the next time? That was the absolute truth. But the thing I really wanted to say now was, Kanzo Makishima-san, I need you to be a good person. Please do what you believe is right. With that done, I close my eyes. After a long, long period of hesitation, I heard a metallic sound come from his rifle. His breathing was already steady. He'd made his decision. It'd be bad for me if I just died here and there was no loop. However, I did find it sad that this man's resolve would become nothing but a dream. Okay, so that one didn't take that long. But we did get another key out of it. Hunter's Confession. This is 19. Alright, and let's look at the full description of this key. Because I feel like I didn't get that much information there. I mean, we did, but I don't know how much of it's really going to help. I love seeing how full this looks. By revealing my true self to Kanzo-san, I managed to have a heart-to-heart with him. As a survivor of 2 previous feasts, the most important thing he told me was that the feast wasn't over, the mist cleared. This implies 2 things. First, the clearing of the mist can't always be perfectly controlled. And second, that there was definitely a wolf who survived a feast in Yasumizu. Also, may have grasped some hints to the reason Haruchan entered Yasumizu 8 years ago and returned alive. Okay. Yeah, alright. So, I think the biggest thing is the mist clearing even when the feast wasn't over. And so this is almost kind of creates another mystery about the mist, and that the mist and the loop and stuff aren't the same thing. Okay, but it's not always perfectly controlled. Okay, interesting. Well, let's see where the game wants us to go next. Because there should be a couple options open to us, but I'm going to let the game tell me where it wants me to go. Yes. I now fully understand when people were commenting early in the playthrough that, like, oh, the hint corner is, like, essentially necessary and, like, you should go against it. This is where it really comes into play. Because before, the hint corner wasn't telling me anything that I couldn't figure out myself. But now, it is telling me exactly where I should go next. And if I do it out of order, I'm worried that I would kind of ruin the flow of the story. Let's sum it up and get along right to the next hint. Bad ending 22, killed by Kanzo's first and last shot. The history of Yasumizu was cleared up here, mostly about the previous 2 feasts. Haru's secret was alluded to as well. This information is necessary to combat the evil that lurks in Yasumizu, but that's a bit of a grueling story. Anyway, if you haven't gone yet, why not try going to 5 wit Q how to pass time for a spin. Okay, 5 wit how to pass time. Alright, so now put that block there with key 20. First the keys you got and take a breather by having a nice chat there. Okay, so this is the other one that only needed key 20. Alright, let's go. Right. How to pass time. Alright, perfect. Alright, so the game didn't forget about this. I was almost worried. I was like, is the game going to forget that, like, I can go here now? But let's do this now. And then there should be another one that, there's another option that only needs 20 and 3. I actually don't know. Key 19, I don't think opens up a unique spot. It's just one of the keys necessary for, like, the big final endings. And when I say big final endings, there is one, up here? Or is it even earlier than this? No, Hide in the Outhouse. There's one for this that we only need key 8. That's 3/8/1920. And then the actual, like, final one at the bottom of Darkness, which is... I could just open up my key list to see what I'm missing. But I'm already going through this now. It is 3... 1, 3, 8, 9, and 19. Yeah, actually, I think 19 is, like, the only one that we need here. So we're only missing 1, 8, and 9. But, okay, yeah, we're getting there. Let's keep going. We still got a little bit of time. If the real story behind the feast made people into that, couldn't that have happened to Kanzo-san? Wolves in the Badger. I knew it was a thing, but didn't quite understand how it worked. That was probably something I could only find out if I became a badger, or a wolf. That meant it was pointless to think about it now. The thing I had to do now was... ask Hisako a question. I think was this, when she was telling us a lot about the religion aspects and how it relates to, or was it like the kanji that spells out could be like the same thing? I don't remember. Either way, I'm going to ask Hisako a question. Because I don't remember the context of this, but I don't think I need to know it enough to get the answers that I want. But I think this might have been the conversation where Mami was giving us a lot of exposition about, like, religions and observations that she made about the local religion. Oh yeah. Just came back to me. I was the me that had been crushed by a million sheep. I'd somehow forgotten that. The looping was kind of irregular this time, so my memories weren't maintained properly. Anyway, since I remembered it now, I figured I had to ask her something. What is it, Fuseishi-kun? I said I was going to get some fresh air and caught up to Mamiya-san. In this timeline, she was a wolf, so she wasn't very stable right now. Okay, so this is that timeline. Right. And with the whole snake act she'd pull tomorrow, she'd go completely out of control. I'd have liked to talk to her in a timeline where Hashimoto-san was alive, but I imagine it'd be hard to find a chance to talk to her then. I remembered it at a decent time, though, so whatever, I'd make it work. I have more questions about the old stories here. About the badger? I don't think that'd ever leave the realm of imagination. There's no point in talking about it, is there? Acting like she didn't know, huh? No, I'm interested in something that came up before that. You gave some examples of wolf, snake, monkey, and crow shrines, right? Even named some snake gods. What about spider? Oh, haha, you noticed? She giggled in a somewhat creepy manner. Apparently it was easy to talk to her if it was about her specialty. I actually don't know of a single place worshipping a spider servant. I need to read up more. But it's not like spider gods are common, right? Yeah, I know a bunch of spider yokai, though. I know that centipedes are Bishamonten's servants. You know about Shingen Takeda's centipede army, right? Yeah, it's a popular military symbol because centipedes can only go forward, right? Yeah, isn't that good enough? They're close enough to spiders, right? I wouldn't say so. Thought so. Spider gods are rare even if you look at the rest of the world. They are? Yes, there's the African Anansi, the North American Iktomi. Besides that, there's lots of spider-based stuff in Native American myths, and I have a theory about that. Oh? She looked behind me, so I turned around and saw Yasunaga-kun. Sorry, I was just wondering what you were talking about. Oh, we're just continuing the occult lesson. I asked about it. It was hard to continue it in the dining hall. I see, but you shouldn't have secret chats in the situation. That's true, but unraveling the legends is important, and I'm just interested in it too. I know what you mean. Is this what you call folkloristics? No, the actual specialists would get mad if you called it that. It's more like a mythology nut talk or folklore gossip. If you're interested, you can join us. It'll make us less suspicious. Good point. I guess I'll hang around for a bit. We weren't saying anything that was worth hiding anyway. Were you talking about spiders? Yes, I have an outrageous theory about it. The Uematsu family is actually descended from the Ojibwe Native Americans. Oh. What? What does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean? You abandoned me the moment you realized that the joke didn't click. Oh, well. Oh. You know about dream catchers? Is that an attraction or something? I know what a dream catcher is. Oh, I know, it's a net thing made of string and wood. The mobile, the mobile, like, decoration. That's right. Those things were first crafted by the Ojibwe Native American tribe and actually based on the spider's web. Like it says in the name, it catches all the bad dreams and only lets through the good ones so the children can sleep well. And yeah, that actually tracks. Okay. Also, the story about the dream catchers speaks of a spider woman called Asibikashi. Sounds like the Uematsu, right? It does. Spider was said to protect people from the dreams of Yomi. Amazing. Then the Uematsu were actually Native Americans who came here centuries ago? Yasunaga, don't be fooled. Huh? Well, there's the faintest sliver of a chance that's true, but it's probably just a coincidence. There's similar legends all over the world, and it's hard to argue that they're actually all the same thing. There are even theories that Japanese are actually Jews and that Minamoto no Yoshitsune is actually Genghis Khan. What? Genghis Khan? Don't just believe it. These theories have as much basis as the one that says that T and T with a little thing on it have the same origin because they're similarly shaped. I see. There are many people who get into these things out of boredom, delusion, or over a grudge, and they're often the loudest ones. I'll admit that people's delusions are a source of dreams, but you should join them with discretion. Oh, I went on a tangent there. But anyway, no, I don't think she has Native American blood. But I do believe that it's not unlikely that it could be related to some very old folktale. I see. By the way, do you know Jung? He was one of the fathers of psychology, and he proposed some fantastical concepts. I think he was in one of my ethics workbooks. Talking about the collective unconscious. It's related, but I'll leave the complex stuff aside for now. Jung believed that similarities in legends and myths are born because of mental images that most of humanity can relate to. Race and era don't matter here. It's a universal image that all of mankind understands, and it's why similar myths can be created in different places and cultures. That's a bold assumption. I actually think that what you said about history being the prime influence here is more likely. He has detractors, of course, but that's what he believed, and he gave the name archetype to these common images. And he defined several such archetypes himself. Trickster, anima, etc. Among those, the spider is considered to symbolize a Great Mother. Great Mother? Yes, the mother that gave birth to all, loves and cherishes all, as well as the one that binds all, obsesses over all, and then consumes it all, only to birth them again. It's an Earth Mother sort of entity. Humanity collectively sees that in the spider, or thinks of such things upon seeing it, apparently. If there really is such an archetype, it'd be no surprise that something embodying the idea of a spider weaving a net protecting the sleep of the children was born in both America and Japan with no real connection between the two. I see. I'm guessing that's a psychology subject. Hey, well, my role here is just presenting some weird, fantastical theories. Don't take it too seriously. But the fact that there are many ways to approach these theories is new to me. I know what you mean. I'm sure I'd have a lot of fun if I could analyze the local faith properly. Would saying it's fun make people mad, though? But really, I could make money off it. I'd investigate it myself. Or if I could make money off it, I'd investigate it myself. Where can you study that kind of thing anyway? Did you learn it in college or something? Huh? Didn't you want to be a lawyer? Yes, of course. My teacher always used to say that college is a place where you learn what you want to. If you change your mind, I'll introduce you to a cultural anthropologist from XX University. Thank you. Rami-san left him a business card and said he could contact her anytime. He continued to ask her about folkloristics, looking really passionate about it. I really appreciated how people could bond over academic subjects in the most unexpected of places. Well, I actually had another question myself. Alright, I think this is where we're going to cut it off. This is a nice little cliffhanger that's going to lead to a conversation. I don't know how long it'll be, but I don't want this episode to go too long, so we're going to cut it off here, and we'll see what this question is on the next time. We only have a few more places to jump to. I would guess that we're only maybe like, I would say maybe like 5 to 10, maybe more videos. That would be like an upper estimate. I feel like we're getting pretty close. It just depends on how long it takes to really get these details. Either way, I'm here for the ride. I'm excited for the rest of the ride. Hopefully you all are as well. If so, let me know. But I'll see you in the next time. So till then, peace out.